If you don't know me, my name is Heather, and I'm the music director here at the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. How is everyone this morning? All right, welcome to July. Let's stand and sing our new opening song, I Am the Thinker by Sue Riley, an oldie but a goodie. Yeah? I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. That changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light and brighten someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Make it count, here we go. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts, changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. Let's do that again. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts, that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my
life. Good morning. My name is Bruce Kreck. On behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to the Sonora Center. Yes, Sonora Desert. See, it's going to be a long day already. I know, yeah. Sonora Desert Center of Spiritual Living. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, here you are truly welcome. We support you and we encourage you to be the best that you can be. Our vision statement, which I love, is love in action every day and in every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You'll find the declarations of principles on the back of your program. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Okay, I'd like to thank the people that made the service special today, and that's everyone here that's present today. Okay, I'll go for announcements.
If you'd like to join us in our Namaste chant, it is in the first page on the white sheet inside your program. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. My name is Judy Robertson, for those of you who do not know me. And it's my pleasure to be the practitioner today at the Sonoran Desert Center. The practitioners are the healing arm of this center, as he just demonstrated. So, if any of you are experiencing any kind of a difficulty, you're welcome to fill out a prayer card. They're on the table over there. And put it in the box, and we will pray for you this week. This light represents the light that you shine out into the world. If you would care to get comfortable, close your eyes if you wish. I will do the invocation. And this invocation comes right from the Science of Mind book. It's entitled, Love for the World. My love goes out to everyone in the world. I do not exclude anything or anyone, for I love everything that is. And my love warms and it lightens everything that it touches. My love flowing through me is a power to all who come in contact with it. And they all feel and they all know that I am love. Love within me is perfect and complete. Love within me is perfect. Namaste. My message today is one that I wrote recently, very recently, and I've entitled it, Growing and Becoming. We are each challenged because it gives us an opportunity to practice our spirituality. The way in which we respond is a direct indication as to the level of consciousness we have attained. How will we choose? Will it be love, or will it be a fear-based thought? The choice is always ours to make. Now, if you become angry, that's a fear-based thought. You have a little work to do. Matter of fact, we all have work to do. Now, if you choose love, then you will be able to keep your peace. Keeping your peace is very important. No one can take away your peace unless you so allow. But if you lose your peace, make sure you get it back as soon as possible. You may say, this is not easy for me to do. You are correct. It takes time and it takes study upon your part, but it is well worth it. There is absolutely nothing happening in your life that is not happening for your spiritual growth. It is checking your progress on the scale of consciousness and peace that you have attained. Now, the higher level you achieve, the better for your health, as we demonstrate with our affirmative prayer. We all have lessons here, many lessons that we need to learn. And the sooner we learn it, the better we can get on. So each and every day, we're all bombarded with negativity. Our purpose here upon this earth is to look past the negativity and find the spiritual truth in each and every one of these situations. There is a lesson here that is going to help us on our path spiritually. Each of us is on a different level, but it is exactly the correct level that we are on. There is nothing in life against you. It is all for your spiritual growth. So let us all become the highest level possible here upon this earth and grow into a beneficial presence. Namaste. Thank you. And now I will take this candle and hold high watch. Thank you.
There we go. The weather isn't always kind to acoustic instruments in the summertime, so kind of have to give it a little more TLC than you would imagine. We give of our words, fill up our hearts. We share from our lives and show that we're so much more than the sum of our parts. The stories we tell connect end to end, like the lines of a garden we hold. We plant the seeds for another one's dreams. The roots and the stems get watered and help us to grow. Blossom and grow, blossom and grow. Up to the sun, grow, blossom and grow, blossom and grow. Courage to speak, the wisdom to hear, lessons of ancestors, mystics, and loved ones departed and dear. The modern day fairy tales are more than just talk. Shade us and guide the paths that we walk to grow. Blossom and grow, blossom and grow. Up to the sun, grow, blossom and grow, blossom and grow. Up to the sun. Blossom and grow, blossom and grow, up to the sun. Thank you. Namaste.
Good morning. Since tomorrow is the 4th of July, I thought it might be appropriate to honor our freedom and our wonderful country and ourselves. You know, we go back to that time where we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so often we take for granted our unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yet the signers of the Declaration of Independence were British subjects, having held their allegiance to Britain for their entire lives. But the intolerable situation that England had imposed upon the colonies made it impossible for them to continue under British rule. So when they drafted the Declaration of Independence, these men knew that they were committing treason, and they knew that they could lose everything, including their lives. So we honor the signers of the Declaration of Independence, men of courage, of honor, willing to risk their lives and everything they had for the freedoms that you and I enjoy today. It's said that while conversing with some friends at a local pub, Ben Franklin was accosted by a drunken man who had overheard him discussing the Declaration of Independence. Slandering the document, the young fellow shouted at Franklin, those words don't mean nothing at all. Where's all the happiness the document says it guarantees us? The quick-witted statesman sympathetically replied, my friend, the Declaration of Independence only guarantees the American people their right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it yourself. And so that's what we're going to step into today. You know, our topic is the Declaration of Inner Independence. And we may have the right to pursue happiness, but if we're not truly happy on the inside, we haven't caught that which we have a right to pursue. Alan Cohen's book, A Deep Breath of Life, is a daily inspirational guide, and this is what he wrote for July 4th. Today we celebrate the birth of our free nation, yet even more important than national freedom is internal freedom. We may live in a democratic society, but unless we are free of the inner bondage of fear and separation, we are not truly free. Today, break free of the power you have given others to make or break your life. While others may invite, suggest, guide, or influence you, ultimately you alone must live with the choices you make. And so you must choose in accordance with your heart's guidance. If you've given any person power over your life, take back your power now. No one can hurt you and no one can save you unless you ordain it. Today, declare a revolution of consciousness. Oust the old dictators of self-doubt, attack thoughts, jealousy, and the replaying of old negative patterns of thought and feeling, and replace them with a belief in yourself. Trust in the wisdom of life, positive visualization and speech, and the willingness to be grand. Today, move beyond human politics and find unity at the core of your being, at the center of yourself. All states of consciousness within you merge into wholeness. Your economy is based on love. The more love you give, the more you have. Today, let the world know that you are a sovereign and powerful nation, comprised of all the experiences and wisdoms you have gleaned over a lifetime. Raise a lamp of liberty high, that all may know that you stand for truth. As I read that, one of the things that stood out for me was trust in the wisdom of life, positive visualization and speech, and the willingness to be grand. And I want to talk about those three as my points this morning. Trust in the wisdom of life. You know, we say almost every single Sunday, there is one mind. It is the mind of God. There is one divine intelligence animating all creation, pulses all through all life, through our veins, yours and mine. So we are automatically expressions of divine wisdom, and when we trust that wisdom, our choices are assured to be wise. Alan Cohen said, "Today break free of the power you have given others to make or break your life. Today declare a revolution of consciousness." This belief in ourselves, coming from our own shift in consciousness, is also a trust in life's wisdom living itself through us. Yeah, I don't think right now that anybody has a hold over me, but that wasn't always true. Because my mother was so critical of me, at least that was my impression of her, that I came to believe that I couldn't do anything right. And I always seemed to attract at least one person who stood in for my mother throughout my whole life. You know, it could be a husband, an acquaintance, a boss, but there was always my mother, and we were having that same conversation, that same argument over and over and over. And it took a while. Today, I know that there is a wisdom within me that knows more than I do. And when I spend time in meditation, contemplation, the way is made clear before me. And the little miracles seem to come from nowhere. Alan Cohen tells us to engage in positive visualization and speech. And that's visualization is feeling the results of what we want as if our desires are already fulfilled. And so that feeling actually transcends an actual object. You know, for example, if we are looking for a home, rather than saying, I want that home on that block, we feel what it would be like to live in our perfect home. And when we get that feeling, that's what we're going to manifest in our life. In our speech, we stay positive, knowing that the more positive things we say will eventually turn into belief and manifest in our life. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us, if we seek to combat evil, we should be careful that we do not make the evil real. I don't want to make evil real by giving it my emotional fuel through my angry speech. I do know that the only thing that will cause the appearance of evil to flee is love. And it starts in my own heart, my own mind, my own thoughts, my own words. It doesn't mean that I put my head in the sand and ignore the issues that affect me, my neighbors, my country, and the world. But it does mean that I shift gears, and rather than fighting against something, to stand for what I believe. Marianne Williamson says the principles that apply to our personal healing apply as well to the healing of the larger world. First, all healing principles are universal because they come from God. And second, there actually is no objective outer world, for what's out there is merely a projection of what's in our mind. The laws of consciousness apply to everything and anything when truly seen for what it is and surrendered to the higher mind, begins to self-correct. And finally, he asks us to have the willingness to be grand. And I know this isn't about the ego, to be grand, look at me and drop dead kind of grand, but it is about putting the attributes of God into our everyday experiences, to lead with those, to be compassionate, to be both giving and forgiving, to be loving, to be grateful. Because those are the things that if that's what we come forward with, that's what we're going to receive. That's what we're going to give out to the world, and that's what the world is going to manifest. But it's not going to happen unless we stop our complaining and start to see the good in things. And that way, whatever we're complaining about will just melt. From our compassion, we are completely present to whoever is in front of us, and we listen beyond the words to the feelings that attend them. To be giving in time, money, and talents not only affects others, but when we give, we receive back so much more. I was reading a study done by Martin Seligman, who talks about positive philosophy, and he had his students for the weekend do two things. One, do something for pure pleasure, and one, do something of service, and come back and report about it. And every single student had more of a sense of fulfillment and pure joy being in service than doing the pleasurable thing. So that's what we really know. And when the hurricanes hit Vero Beach, the church right down the street from me, the Baptists came in and took over with everything and fed us, and they had people that would re-tarp the houses and all that stuff. And I knew that they were getting ready to leave, and I came over because I'd made friends with one woman, and I had tears in my eyes, and I said, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for our community. And she had tears in her eyes, and she says, oh no, Donna, you have no idea what you've done for me. So she got as much, if not more, from giving of herself in that time. And then in forgiving, and I think that's really important. When we forgive even those deep wounds, we set ourselves free and able to see the gift within that experience. Remember that when we forgive, we're not letting someone else off the hook. We're taking the hook out of our own mouth. So keep that in mind. Let me say, I'm not going to forgive him. This was unforgivable. Well, it's me. And finally, to be grateful, taking time to remember all the good and loving experiences that we have had, count our blessings as we go to sleep at night. It's amazing how much better we sleep when we go to bed with a grateful heart. You know, it is gratitude that prompted an old man to visit an old broken pier on the eastern seacoast of Florida. Every Friday night until his death in 1973, he would return, walking slowly and slightly stooped with a large bucket of shrimp. The seagulls would flock to this old man, and he would feed them from his bucket. Many years before, in October 1942, Captain Eddie Rickenbacker was on a mission in a B-17 to deliver an important message to General Douglas MacArthur. But there was an unexpected detour somewhere over the South Pacific. The flying fortress became lost beyond the reach of radio. Fuel ran dangerously low, so the men ditched their plane in the ocean. For nearly a month, Captain Eddie and his companions would fight the water and the weather and the scorching sun. They spent many sleepless nights recoiling as giant sharks rammed into their rafts. The largest raft was 9 by 5, and the largest shark was 10 feet. And of all their enemies at sea, one proved most formidable: starvation. 8 days out, their rations were gone or destroyed by salt water, and it would take a miracle to sustain them. In Eddie's own words, Captain Eddie's own words, Cherry, that was the B-17 pilot, Captain William Cherry, read the service that afternoon, and we finished with a prayer for deliverance and a hymn of praise. There was some talk, but it tapered off in the oppressive heat. With my hat pulled down over my eyes to keep out some of the glare, I dozed off, and something landed on my head. I knew it was a seagull. I don't know how, I just knew, and everybody else knew too. No one said a word, but peering out from under my hat brim without moving my head, I could see the expressions on their faces. They were staring at the gull. The gull meant food, if I could catch it. Well, Captain Eddie did catch that seagull. Its flesh was eaten. Its intestines were used for bait to catch fish. The survivors were sustained, and their hopes renewed, because a lone seagull, uncharacteristically hundreds of miles from land, became the miracle that saved them. So, and you know that Captain Eddie made it, and you now know that he never forgot. Because every Friday evening about sunset on a lonely stretch along the eastern Florida seacoast, you could see an old man walking, white-haired, bushy-eyebrowed, slightly bent, his bucket filled with shrimp. So to me, this is the picture of the grandness that Alan is talking about. That's how we're grand. It's such a simple thing. Nobody's ever going to know, except this story, kind of filtered down. But nobody would know that this was his way of saying, thank you for saving my life. We have to have the willingness to see the gifts we've been given and take time to express gratitude for them. And also for what appears to be unfair and off-kilter, to remember that we've been through these things before and have been befriended by the angels of our higher nature. Abigail Adams wrote to her son, President John Quincy Adams, in 1780. That's 5 years into the Revolutionary War. She writes, "These are the times in which a genius would wish to live. It is not in the still calm of life or in the repose of a Pacific station that great characters are formed. The habits of a vigorous mind are formed in contending with difficulties. Great necessities call out great virtues. When a mind is raised and animated by the scenes that engage the heart, then those qualities which would otherwise lay dormant wake into life and form the character of the hero and the statesman." Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Yeah, I love that. Because it is that. We're going to have our down times, we're going to have our hard times, but if we can stay focused and realize that we are also in a great time, So as we honor our country's 246th birthday, let's remember to give thanks to everyone who've given their lives to make and keep our country free. And let's do our part by shifting our consciousness to remind ourselves that regardless of appearances, all shall be well. And today I want to close with a prayer by Ernest Holmes that touched my heart. It's from the book, The Essential Ernest Holmes, edited by Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings. "Today I enter into my divine inheritance, shaking my thought clear from the belief that external conditions are imposed upon me. I declare the freedom of my divine heritage. I possess the kingdom of God in all its fullness. I look long, sincerely, and simply upon every object, every person. I wait at the doorway of my expectation until my acceptance grants me the privilege of beholding the face of God forevermore. I shall not wait long, for today I expect to see God's presence in all. I expect to don the seamless robe of divine union. Today is my day. I let it live itself through me, and so it is." That's it. That's it. It's fast.
All right, y'all, let's stand and sing. Let's stand and sing. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway that saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. And roamed and rambled, I follow footsteps to the sparkling sand of her diamond desert, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I'm here, excuse me, I'm sorry. When the sun came shining, yeah, and I was strolling in wheat fields waving, the dust clouds rolling, the voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. Yes, it was. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I had an interesting experience this week that I want to share with you. I had a friend who was visiting other friends out of town, and they all went out to a restaurant. I think there were 4 of them that went to a restaurant. And the woman who waited on them was a student from Ukraine, and her visa was about to be up. She had a 6-month visa. And so my friends asked her if there was anything that she could do, and she said, well, we're trying very hard. And so they left $150 tip. So it's really amazing how when everything is down, we come to the fore, and I thank you for giving us this information, and we'll see what we can do to really help, because we've been giving to our center in Ukraine, but now we've got some real people living here, so maybe we can help in many different ways. So, okay, it's time for our offering, and that's a time to really put that law of prosperity in motion. What we give, what comes back to us multiplied and pressed down. It always happens that way, and that's what's so wonderful about, if you do things like pay Prosperity Pig for 10% of your unexpected or unplanned income. It's amazing what happens, because you've always got more than when you started out. Okay, so please join me in our offering affirmation. It's on the left-hand side towards the bottom. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Or within with us, from the mountains to the valleys, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America,
I appreciate you doing that, Heather. You know, sometimes we're a little scared to even come close to something that feels political. But I think loving America is not political. It's a heart thing, isn't it? So I do thank you for your generosity that allows us to be a beneficial presence in this community. And I'm so grateful to be here and to be a part of this spiritual family. So let's take a moment to close out this portion in prayer, and there's lots of good things on the table back there. If you are new, please join us so that we can get to know you better. I do know that there is one mind. It's the mind of God, and it's the mind that we use. And there's one life. It's the life of God. And that life pulsates through you and through me. There is one love, and it's the love of God that sends light to each and every one of us. And I know that this power and presence through you and me has the power to change the world. So I speak my word this morning for anyone experiencing any kind of a challenge, to know that the power and presence of God is right there in the midst. I speak my words certainly for Ukraine and the other areas of the world that are at war. And I see through that to the peace that Judy talked about this morning, the peace within our hearts. I give thanks for the opportunity to be here, to share with like-minded people who I consider my family. And I simply know that regardless of all appearances, life is good and very good. And we claim it by saying, and so it is. Thank you so much, and yell it out.
Let's circle up.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sweetheart, thank you. Okay, we're going to circle to sing stand.
Circle the wagons. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be